Hi everyone, it's probably going to be a long video, so buckle up. Anyway, what we saw on Friday, is it shocking? Not at all. I already explained to it that our NASDAQ index I already removed the balance of power on this chart, but our NASDAQ index got green balance of power back here on the second. Just so happens that is the top. Now, a lot of people are like, well, then couldn't you see this coming? Well, no, because you could have green overbought market and could continue to get overbought with no sign of a pullback, and we could have rallied February, March, April into May without ever pulling back. It just so happens we did have overbought conditions in the market, made mention of that about 1,000 times in the past week, and we had some indications that we went too far too fast. And once again, the constant problem remains that we see every goddamn time we rally, there's no volume above average. There's no oomph behind it. You got the oomph in the stocks, and that's great, but you also want oomph in the tape. I mean, you want them to be buying everything clearly on above average volume compared to the selling. And once again, we're just doing the opposite. We rallied once again on lower volume, and now we're selling off on heavier volume. It's nowhere near panic mode, but it is time for hedges. But before we start going over there, we can see that the NASDAQ is working off overbought conditions in the two oscillators shown here, MACD and TSV. The Russell 2000 is under a similar situation. The S&P 500 is too. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, and look at the volume too, Serge. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, same situation. As you can see, we're a long way away from being oversold. So if this is just the start of a big pullback, uh-oh. But if it's just a normal pullback in an otherwise normal longer-term uptrend, then maybe we're rough around here. We can continue to move higher while we continue to pull in on our oscillators. But overall, it's kind of a mixed market because the New York Stock Exchange, guys, that's a neutral signal move right there. NYSE is off of its buy mode in 1 day. In 1 day, it has switched to neutral with that close below the 50-day moving average on heavy volume rolling over that previous uptrend. Once again, where was the volume on the rally in the overall market? You normally want to see it confirm with stocks. While stocks are great, they're not the end all to be all. So the market looks kind of sick here. We'll see how it plays out. I'm going to show you the other oscillators. RSI is working itself way off that overbought condition in NYSE. Stochastics are coming down hardcore. NASDAQ stochastics are finally coming off those highs. Same with RSI, but there's a lot of ways to go before neutral. RSI has already pulled back quite a bit on the Russell 2000, which is good, but stochastics are still rolling over. So, we could still continue to go down, especially the way we look. Now, the bad news is today that we got hit with a ton of sells. The good news is that, my God, sell stops are saving our ass. This is not a methodology. I always use stops before, but never on every single position with super tight stops. Ever since, 2000 and I think 11, I think 2012 is when I started to use them, but during 2013, 14, and especially, now in 2015 especially, I have stops on every single position immediately, and they're super tight. And I tell you what, and it saves you on days like today. CRTO is a full sell. Where it opened in the morning, I'm all out. That was it for me, and that turned out to be, a very, very good work of art. TMF opened in the morning where it did. That's it. I'm all out. It's closing below that support. I'm all out. That's also full sell if you haven't. Lulu, where it opened in the morning, that's it. I'm all out. Full sell. And if you haven't sold it all, it's a full sell now. AAXJ, where it opened up in the morning, all out. That's it. Done. Actually, might not have been. Hold on. Let's see. CC298. Yep, absolutely. So I was out right at the very open. So once again, sell stop, save me some money, all out. And then there's MRCY. Now, technically, guys, I screwed up. I should have posted it as a full sell for you yesterday. But here's what I was thinking. I'm already out on this day. So on the 4th that I issued it as a 50% or 75% sell or whatever in the hell I did on an end-of-day basis, it would be 50% because of lower volume, holding support, closing above the final cut loss level, which was 1679 intraday stops. This thing hit 1679, and it took me out of all my positions. So I was already out here on this day. The next day it held above the low of the day, so I didn't issue any more sell signal. But no matter what, if you didn't sell any of this, boy, did that cost you today. So today is definitely a full sell signal in MRCY. Once again, sell stops got me out a long time ago, much higher prices. ANGO, fail. I don't forgot what it was at one point today, but 1805 was my final sell stop. Blew right through it, so good thing for that. And then MSTR. Something I didn't point out, MSTR was a 25% sell here, another 50% sell here. Now it's 100% sell. However, intraday yesterday, once it went below this level right here, 174.77, I'm all out. My whole entire position from back here, because my limit didn't get hit, so I went in at market and went ahead and took a position at a higher price than I would have liked. So that meant that this support had to hold and that low a day had to hold. It did not, so I was all out. Once again, saved me money. So the sell stops work. And then the speculative position, Chris, god damn it. This is the one stock I didn't set a sell stop on after the opening bell, and I was like, okay, first sell stop we do put on 298, the deepest one. But then normally half the position would be out if it moved below 314. But you know what? This is a hot chart. And I know they should go up immediately, but with Chris, there's a lot of day traders in it. Might not want to do that. Fucking cost me. The one stock I don't set a sell stop on, and of course, it blows right through it. So instead of being out half the position at 313 or whenever I would have gotten filled, 310 or whatever, it's at 304. After hours, I saw it up to 306. Big deal. Now it's a full sell. You can, if you want, hold to 298, but I will remind you, if we wanted this to be like CRMD, remember, first signal, second signal, there was no pullback. Third signal, there was no pullback in any of those three signals. Even our beauty FLXN, after our long signal here, an amazing first day, we're still getting a pullback today. It's lighter volume, nothing I want to do with it, but that's not how CRMD acted, so I wouldn't expect a CRMD type move. I find it shitty that I continue to take the stocks that don't move, and the stocks that I don't take make rip big like CRMD's now got a 157% gain from that long signal. If you took the third one, you now got a 150% gain also, but you know, it's going to be what it is in the low volume overall market uptrend. Some partial sells also. MUSA closing below 50-day moving average, 25%. ZLTQ is not a sell for me until it closes below here. But technically, it's closing below the 50-day moving average. If you haven't sold any already this day intraday, 50% was sold. My low a day, 30.64 here is my final cut loss level. So that's a 25% sell. FORM is closing below the 20-day moving average. So as you can see here, that is going to be a 25% sell. Sell stops get raised now to the low a day of the last pocket pivot point date, 859. I did have it at 859 and then had some at 849. They're all at 859 now. And then CTCT, sell stop, final sell stop gets raised to right below these support levels. And even though it is a lower volume move, it's technically a 25% sell signal. But what I'm going to do is a sell stop below 40.18. So if it doesn't trade below 40.18, I'll remain in the position. If it trades below 40.18, I'll be getting out of 25% of it. But the lower volume doesn't make me want to take it all off. And then Melly today, issuing an end-of-day 50% sell signal. You see this low a day print right there? Well, intraday, my final sell stop was hit, which would have been below 129.20, which is where it's closing today. Somehow, though, unfortunately, and it happens, I got filled at the low of day at 129.06 on Melly, but I'm all out of Melly. This sell signal right here is a 50%er. The final sell stop would, of course, be a move below this level or below this level. It's up to you. It doesn't matter. Melly's gotten ugly. Melly smelly. It's gone. So those are all the sells. I actually do have one new long position I'm going to take. It's because it's got no risk on it, and I will set up a fucking sell stop immediately in the morning on this one. First sell stop, 1660, so 1659. Last and final sell stop, 1630, 1629. So it's going to have to move up right away or else we're out. But QT&T, medical stock, recently trading, thin stock, but a very bullish day today. Big volume and BOP surge, no price surge. So you know, I thought it still would have showed up in my price volume surge scan, but it didn't. So since it didn't, it's not a 2%er. It's only a 1%er. EPS rating's 2. I'm not stoked on the fundamentals at all. This is just an extremely nice chart pattern that has a potential to explode higher like FLXN did based on how coiled it is. I don't expect it to, but I still expect it to trend higher. If not, we're not going to risk much. Earnings aren't a problem. Nothing to worry about. The one real trade tonight, the only real trade at all, is we have to start hedges here. Because the market sold off on above average volume in the NASDAQ, We're overbought. We have our first real down day, and we're so heavily long, we have to put on a hedge. So the SQQQ hedge will go on. First cut loss level for me is going to be a close below the low of day, 24.98. Then I'll put another one at 24.81. Then I'll have one more at 24.50. So I'll have 3 different sell stops on my SQQQQQQ hedge. And it is all of the available remaining count capital in my cash account and in my margin account. I'll have to wrap my head around it. I cannot believe still to this fucking day I don't understand margin and the math behind it. And it just proves that I'm stupid and I'm just good at trading. And I'm not even that good at trading anymore. Not like I was before 2008 whenever FLXNs were everywhere and I used to take CRMDs and CRISs didn't happen.